Happy Friday, November 11th. Mark Milam here, your mortgage professional with Highland Mortgage. A little less than professional in my appearance because we're closed today for Veterans Day. If you are a veteran, thank you so much for your service. If you're a family member of a veteran, thank you so much for supporting veterans who go out there and serve our country or have served our country. Very grateful to those veterans today. And while we are closed, we certainly do want to put out a weekly update and talk about what happened yesterday. Because yesterday was a great day. Yesterday, we saw interest rates improve across the board thanks to the Consumer Price Index, which finally came in below expectations all year long. It's just been nothing but bad news on inflation, and the Consumer Price Index is the most widely followed measure of inflation. How is inflation trending? And yesterday, the Consumer Price Index came in below expectations. I'll flip the screen around and show you a little of what I'm talking about. Here on CNBC, consumer prices rose 0.4% in October, less than expected. As inflation eases, 7.7% is the year-over-year number. And while that's still way too high, at least now we're trending in the right direction. We can look at the core CPI and see that it increased 0.3%. That was against an expectation of around 0.5 to 0.6%. And the core number, which strips out volatile food and energy costs, down at 6.3% on an annual basis. So fantastic news there. If you were paying any attention to the stock market yesterday, you saw the Dow soar 1,200 points, incredible rise for the Dow. And you also saw interest rates improve across the board. So that has been very welcome news for home buyers as affordability has been crushed this year with the rapidly rising interest rates. Interest rates have risen faster in this past year than they have in the past 50 years. But a note of caution here, this is one report, right? And I think this is what Janet Yellen was getting to yesterday. If you happen to read anything that was put out yesterday about the CPI, Janet Yellen came out and said, she's the Treasury Secretary, of course, former Fed chairman, who came out and said, hey, this is great. This is a good situation. We like seeing the CPI coming in lower, rates trending in the right direction. But it's one report, right? We can't hang our hat on this and think that this is the beginning, the end. We're headed back down to rates at 3%. That is not the case. It's going to take sustained data. We're going to need month over month data, at least 3 months worth of data before the Fed feels compelled to take its foot off the gas. I still think we're looking at a Fed funds rate hike in December, but maybe not 0.75%. Maybe that will moderate to 0.5 or even a quarter of a point, but probably still at least a token rate hike in December for the Fed. Some other good news that we're pleased to announce here at Highland Mortgage is our Highland Mortgage Strikes Back initiative, where qualifying first-time home buyers can now obtain even lower interest rates. This means if you're a first-time home buyer, meaning you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years, at least one borrower on the loan hasn't owned a home in the past 3 years, you'll see lower interest rates so long as you earn $95,700 annually or less. Feel free to reach out if you think you might fit that bill, and I think you'll be very pleased with the interest rates that you'll see. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, thank you to all of our veterans. We'll see you next week.